For this lesson, I would like you to have your math notebook out, turn to page 43. So why don't you go ahead and do that? And I am going to show you example 1 here on the screen. So I'll get this ready while you are getting your notebook out. All right, so the first one is 3 times 5 over 2. I have already taught you how to multiply fractions. So this lesson is not about that. It's about showing you what your answer would be if it's going to be greater than the other factor, or if it's going to be less than, or if it's going to be equal to, without even having to solve it. All right. So look in your notebook. It says multiplying a given number by a fraction greater than 1. So here is my given number. Here is my fraction greater than 1. How do I know this fraction is greater than 1? Because it's an improper fraction, 5 over 2. So doing that results in a product, an answer that is greater than this. So my answer, because I'm multiplying by an improper fraction, should be greater than 3. Now let's prove it based on what we did with multiplying. So 3 over 1 times 5 over 2, I would get 15 over 2, right? 2 goes into 15 7 times with 1 left over. So my answer is 7.5. Yes, 7 1/2 is greater than what I started with, this 3. All right, I know this doesn't make any sense to you yet, but let's keep working. Number 2, example 2 in your notes says 8/3 times 6. Now, all they want to know is your answer going to be greater than 6, less than 6, or equal to 6, without even solving it? So what I'm trying to show you without solving it is if you multiply a given number by a fraction bigger than 1, this fraction is bigger than 1. How do I know that? It's an improper fraction. My answer is always going to be bigger than that. So that is going to be the case, but I want to prove it to you. So if I did this actual problem, it would be 8/3 times 6 over 1. I could reduce this by dividing by 3, and I would get this. So I would get 16 over 1, which is 16. 16 is greater than 6. So your answer is going to be that. Now, look at your notes in the second part, okay? Now we're going to multiply a given number by a fraction that is less than 1. So multiplying a given number by a fraction less than 1 results in a product, an answer that is less than the other factor. So for example, number 1 says 9, so there's your given number, times 2/3. Now look at my fraction this time. It's smaller than 1 because 3/3 is 1, right? It's not an improper fraction. So I already know without even solving it that my answer should be less than 9. It should be less than that given number. That's all they want to know. But I'm going to prove it to you. 9 over 1 times 2/3 is 18/3, right? I had to make that into a mixed number. 3 goes into 18 6 times. Isn't 6 less than 9, what I started with? So without even solving it, you should automatically know that your answer is going to be less than 9 because you're multiplying by a fraction less than 1, just a regular fraction. Okay, the second example shows 5/7 times 6. Okay, here's my given number, right? This is my given number. I'm multiplying it by a fraction less than 1. So my answer should be less than 6. That's all. They don't even want to know the answer. They just want to know whether your answer is greater than 6, less than 6, or equal to 6. All right, now let me show you some ones where your answer is going to be equal to. Okay, so take a look at the third part of your notes. The third part of your notes says multiplying a given number by a fraction equal to 1, like 7/7, 5/5, 8/8, results in a product that is equal to the other factor. So if I take 8 times 7/7, that's like taking 8 times 1. I'm going to get 8. It's going to be the same thing. You should always know that it's going to be that. 4/4 times 5 is going to be basically 1 times 5. So it's going to be 5. So your answer is always going to be equal.